Good morning. My name is Mark Swihart, and I will be the worship associate today. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. Whether you've been with this church for a decade or more, or this is your first time visiting, we welcome you. Whatever your faith or traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, we welcome you to our church. Wherever you come from, whatever your journey has been, welcome. Newcomers and guests are always welcome to participate in any of our church activities. If you would like more information about our church or about Unitarian Universalism, please contact our minister, Reverend Jane Thickstun. You can get her contact information at our website. Also, please join us for coffee hour following this service. There will be a Zoom link posted in the YouTube chat at the end of the service, or you can find it in the upper right-hand corner of our webpage. We hope you've had a chance to read the announcements that run before the service starts. We need to point out that the Covenant Group orientation session will be next Sunday, September 19th, after the service. It's not the 26th or the 24th as what was advertised. It's going to be September 19th. That's the Covenant Group orientation session. If you're interested in signing up for a Covenant Group this year, and would like to learn more, this is for you. Belonging to a covenant group offers you and others the opportunity to nurture spiritual development, foster individual growth, and achieve a meaningful contribution to the church through a service project through the year. The sign-up form will be available on the website soon, and the covenant groups will start in October. Once again, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. It's good to be together, even if it has to be virtually.
Good morning, everybody. It is so wonderful to have the choir here today, and hi to all you out there in computer land. Today marks the start of a new church year, a beginning like no other in our time. We'd hoped after a year apart that we would finally all be together in this sanctuary today, greeting each other with hugs and smiles, bringing our water to the common bowl at the same time. Instead, we sit in our separate homes, safe from the virus that threatens our world, connected by the miracle of the internet. Let us be grateful for the blessings we have. Let us remember that we have many ways to connect. Let us be grateful for the vaccines that do offer some measure of protection. And let us be constantly aware that we are a community of love, a community of justice, ready to take on the fear and the sorrow in the world and in our hearts together.
Fire and water, ancient opposites. Sun and ocean, cradle of life. Dancing flame and dancing river. We invoke them together today as we kindle our chalice flame. Let's sing together. Number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Hello, Unitarian Universalists. This is the season of Ingathering, marking the start of a new congregation year. In recent months, as more people have been able to get vaccinated, many of us have been able to gather in ways that we haven't for a long time. It has been a joy to gather with distant loved ones, to hug our family and friends. And it's important to savor these gifts, these blessings. And we know that the pandemic is not over. Virus variants are creating uncertainty and greater risks for our children, the immunocompromised, and those who cannot get vaccinated. If you are eligible, please get vaccinated. This is the most important thing you can do to keep your loved ones, your communities, and one another safe. Getting vaccinated and continuing to wear masks remain a priority. And they help make our gatherings, whenever and whatever form they take, as safe and welcoming as possible for our children, for our elders, and for those most at risk. I share the feelings of frustration that we are not further along in combating this virus. And I know the heartache and confusion of trying to figure out how to best care for the spiritual nourishment of our communities while the virus surges. The way forward will be different across our communities. Rates of vaccination, case counts, ability to meet outside, quality of ventilation, ability to physically distance indoors, congregation size, and particular needs and risks of our staff, our leaders, and our members, all of these can vary, and all are important factors in planning how we gather. I'm encouraged, though. I'm so encouraged by the creativity I witness in our congregations and the way that we are all leaning into mission, remembering how much our families and elders need community. It's important to think outside the box and to experiment with ways of gathering, both virtually and in person, that are meaningful and that attend to safety. In this time of ingathering, this season of new beginnings, care, kindness, and patience for ourselves and others are needed in abundance. Remember to prioritize the values of inclusion and consent, centering those most at risk, and to follow the science and be flexible in making plans and changing them when needed. At its core, Ingathering is a ritual that celebrates the value and the meaning of religious community, the ways that we are held by a wider circle of love and care. I invite you to take a moment to be present to your body, and the physical space in which you are present. Be open to the emotions that you carry in your spirit. And remember that you are not alone. We belong to each other. And even when we are apart, we are held by a greater love. We are held by a religious community and by people that comfort us and care for us, and remind us of our connection to the larger interdependent web of which we are all a part. May we be grateful for the unseen but very real threads of compassion and strength, care and intention that surround us. There is great healing and sustaining power in our faith, and our work is to make these manifest in ourselves and in our communities, even if how we do this looks and continues to look differently than it did before. Our ministry is life-saving when it is responsive to our realities, helping all of us navigate these unprecedented and very precarious times. Thank you for being a part of this faith and for your commitment to your UU congregation. We will get through this together, caring for one another and being held by the larger embrace of abiding love. I send you my blessings to you and your loved ones and your families and to your communities. My love and care to each and every one of you. Blessed be.
Faith curriculum called Gather the Spirit and is adapted from a Haitian folk tale. There was once a drought in the country. The streams dried up and the wells went dry. Mama God saw there was no place for the animals to drink. Mama God provided a well with the condition that it must be taken care of so all could use it. And Mama God said,
You'll have to take good care of my well. One of you will have to be caretaker, the one who takes care of the well. The caretaker will stay by the well at all times to see that no one is greedy or makes it dirty.
and Lizard spoke up, saying,
I will be the caretaker.
Mama God looked at all the animals, and she said at last,
Lizard will be the caretaker. The well is over there by the mango.
Lizard went directly to the well, but when the other animals began to come back for water, Lizard challenged them. First, the cow came to drink. Lizard set out in a big voice,
Who is it? Who is it? Who is walking in my grove?
and the cow replied.
It is I, the cow. I am coming for water.
Lizard called back,
Go away. This is God's grove, and the well is dry.
so the cow went away and suffered from thirst. Then the horse came, and Lizard challenged him, saying,
Who is walking in my grove?
The horse answered.
I am the horse, and I am coming for water.
Lizard called back,
Go away. This is Mama God's grove, and the well is dry.
so the horse went away, and he too suffered from thirst. Other animals came to the well, and Lizard challenged them all. And in the same way, saying,
Go away. This is Mama God's grove, and the well is dry.
So the animals went away and suffered much because they had no water to drink. God saw all the suffering going on and said,
I gave the animals a well to drink from, but they are all dying of thirst. What is the matter?
and so Mama God went to the well. When Lizard heard footsteps, she called out,
Who is it? Who is it? Who is walking in my grove?
Mama God answered,
It is I, Mama God, and I am coming for water.
and Lizard said,
Go away, Mama God, the well is dry.
Mama God was very angry. She said once more,
It is I, Mama God, I am coming for water.
and the lizard called back again.
Go away, Mama God, the well is dry.
Mama God said no more to the lizard. She sent for the animals to come to the well, and she said,
You came to me because you were thirsty, and I gave you a well. I made Lizard the caretaker, but she gave no thought to the suffering creatures all around her. If one has a banana tree in their garden, it is theirs. If one has a cotton tree in their garden, it is theirs. But if one has a well in their garden, only the hole in the ground belongs to that one. The water is God's and belongs to all creatures. Thank you, Dana. Thank you to our President Reverend Susan Frederick Gray for that lovely message. This was Dana Poss, our Director of Lifespan Faith Development.
Good morning. I'm Chris Hill with the Lay Pastoral Care Team. During our service, we create this shared space for sharing within our community. It's a time to share significant life passages with the congregation so you can be held in loving care. I'll be reading the joys and sorrows this morning, and Lynn Richards will be placing a stone representing each joy or sorrow in the sand. The sand represents our congregation, supporting our sorrows and lifting up our joys. From Mary Doubleday. It is a joy that this year is the 60th anniversary of UUCNH's founding. It is a joy that Lowell and Rachel Schwartz, who were among the founders, are still active members. And it is a joy that Hal Dykstra has played piano at UUCNH for 50 of those 60 years. To Mary, Lowell, Rachel, Hal, and really to all of us, we share in this joy. From Edith Ruiz, several items. First, a joy. I have been successful in my job search and have found full-time work with the Pittsburgh Sports and Exhibition Authority. I'm happy to be gainfully employed and at the convention center downtown. To Edith, we say, we share in your joy. Edith also had two sorrows. First, the engine in my car blew up at the beginning of the month, so I am carless once again. We've been car shopping whenever we can, and I'm hopeful that I can find a replacement soon. To Edith, we say, we're holding you in our hearts. Her other sorrow, our rescue cat Oreo crossed over the Rainbow Bridge Thursday the 9th. My husband and I have had him for over 3 years, and we gave him all the love and affection he needed after coming to us in poor health at an older age. We managed to address most of his health issues, but the last few weeks he was declining very rapidly, not eating or drinking, and mostly lethargic. We stayed with him until he was gone and buried him in our backyard. To Edith and her husband, we say, we're holding you in our hearts. From Rome Brosum, a sorrow, my coworker's husband, Brad, caught COVID from the wave that swept through my office. He is not doing well. So please pray for him or hold him in your thoughts. To Rowan, her coworker, and Brad, we say, we're holding you in our hearts. From Erin Terizzi, sorrow, joy. Her grandmother Joan fell at her retirement community recently. She's now home from the hospital, but still in rehab. To Erin and her grandmother, we say, we're holding you in our hearts. From Lori and David Sowers, a sorrow and a joy. We are saddened to reflect on the devastating fires near our home in southern Oregon, which destroyed more than 2,500 homes last year at this time. But we found inspiration in the outpouring of support our local community has provided these families. It's a testament to our interconnectedness at a time when we often seem so distant from one another. To Lori, David, and their community, we say, we're holding you in our hearts. And now their joy. Though we were never directly threatened by the fires, many of our old church friends back east reached out to check on us. 1 year later, we're going strong as virtual attendees of UUCNH. We understand the longing for in-person fellowship, but we are living proof that fellowship via the internet has power and value, even if it does come in bits and bytes. Thank you, old friends and new acquaintances, for helping us rediscover our one true church home, where we came of age spiritually many years ago. To Lori and David, we say, we share in your joy. We now place one more stone in the sand for all the joys and sorrows that exist in our hearts but remain unspoken today. We especially think of everyone suffering, directly or indirectly, from this COVID-19 pandemic. Please read with me the words appearing on the screen, understanding that here includes all those watching. Let us hold in our circle of caring each person here. Let us hold in our hearts those who are unable to be with us today. Let us hold in our memories those who have moved on. Let us find comfort in knowing that we are not alone.
I invite you now to join me in a spirit of meditation or prayer. So please settle in a little more comfortably. Close your eyes if you wish. Allow your body to just relax. Feel the chair, the floor, the couch below you, supporting your body. And breathe. Breathe in deeply. And breathe out slowly. Breathing in compassion. And breathing out peace. Holy grace and goodness, hold us in your power and your loving embrace. Give us strength and courage, for the times are dark indeed. The virus is not only still with us, it is waging another brutal attack. The people of Afghanistan are dreading life under the Taliban with good reason. Thousands clamor at our southern border still, begging to be let in to escape intolerable conditions in their homelands. Women in this country are in grave danger of losing autonomy over their own bodies as the Supreme Court allows a draconian Texas law to stand. My body, my choice for many applies only to decisions about wearing masks. State after state is doing everything they can think of to limit voting by poor and marginalized populations. Hurricanes and tornadoes ravage our coasts and beyond. Fires destroy homes and habitats for countless humans and other creatures. Climate change is no longer a distant promise, but a present reality which will become increasingly devastating even if we were to change course now. And yesterday was the 20-year anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attack. It all feels overwhelming at times, Great Spirit. Help us to see the beauty in the world, in human actions, in ourselves. Let us experience the love that holds us up, that keeps us strong and able to go on. May we feel the love and courage from each other and from deep within ourselves, so that we may face these dark times and not despair, but spread our own love far and wide. And I invite you to join me in a moment of silent reflection.
was beautiful, Nick. We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We're so grateful for this, and we commit together to ensure that the funds we collect collectively do a greater good for ourselves and for our world than they could have done alone. The morning offering now will be taken by your mailing a check to the church or going to the uucnh.org website, finding the link in the upper right-hand corner that says Donate, and making a contribution equivalent to what you would be putting in the plate, or maybe more. Of our offering. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith.
My God.
What a joy it is to hear our choir in person again. It will happen for all of us soon, I hope. So we have to take care of the water of the well. We have to see that no one is greedy or makes it dirty. The water doesn't belong to anyone. It belongs to all of us. And by all of us, of course, I mean the cows and the horses and all the other animals and birds and fish, and yes, even the lizard. And humans too. But we're the ones we especially need to watch for. We're the ones who get too greedy. We're using up the groundwater in some places faster than it gets replenished. We're diverting water from rivers and lakes faster than it gets replenished. I'm aware now not to let the water run down the drain when I'm brushing my teeth, but only to run the faucet when I am actually wetting or rinsing the toothbrush. But that's such a minor adjustment for such a major problem. Another wasteful use of water is maintaining lawns when and where it's too dry for them. Then the bottled water industry is using up huge quantities of water, as well as creating huge quantities of plastic to clutter up the landscape and the oceans. We're also the ones who make the water dirty. Not only that plastic that gets into the ocean and forms both large and microscopic, but oil spills, sewage, all kinds of garbage we release into the water, rendering it hazardous to people and all kinds of wildlife. With our carelessness, we kill. The state of coral in the oceans is heartbreaking. With our carelessness, I said that. So I've seen in my trips to St. Croix, comparing 2008 and 2020, I've been snorkeling off this little island near St. Croix and seen the quick and massive dying off of coral. It's really heartbreaking. At some point, the lizard may say, "The well is dry," and it really will be. It already is in many parts of the world, so many places where there isn't enough water to support life anymore, even where there used to be. Of course, there are other places where there is just too much water sometimes. Right now, New Orleans, New York City, and its New Jersey suburbs are still reeling from the recent overwatering that Ida dumped on them. And there is increasing flooding happening, mostly in the eastern parts of the United States. Other places in the world, too, but it's not happening in California, I'll guarantee you that. and climate change is responsible for much of this. And we and our kind are responsible for climate change. We have to take care of the earth, and we have to take care of the water. It is not the property of humans. It belongs to everyone. Water. Water is sacred. It is holy. As the story said, the water is God's, and it belongs to all creatures. So today, we honor the water that makes life possible on our planet. We celebrate the larger world we inhabit as we share pictures in a moment of the watery places we've visited. We celebrate our own community coming together at the end of the summer, even in these still not quite together times. We celebrate that we come from different places, different walks of life, different perspectives, different ages, all the ways we differ from one another. And yet, we form a community together. Community isn't easy. We don't flow together effortlessly like the waters we would be pouring into our common bowl. We have rough edges that bump up against each other and hurt sometimes. But it is worth it. People are meant to be in community. We are a social species. I'd like to suggest that we extend our concept of community beyond those of us who make up this congregation and beyond the other people in our personal circles. Let's consider our community to include all the creatures we share the water with. The cows and horses and lizards, the birds and fish and deer. And even that little groundhog we saw out here yesterday. For now, the well is not dry, and there is possibly enough for all if we learn to share well. So let's celebrate our ingathering by singing Blue Boat Home, and then we'll share the photos of the waters in our lives, the lives of those of us in this beloved community called the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. Let's sing together.
Still I'm glad that I can say
As we start a new church year together, we join with Unitarian Universalist congregations all over this country and Canada, who are all celebrating their return from summer occupations with a water ceremony. This ceremony has been practiced across the denomination since it was started in 1980 in East Lansing, Michigan, at a Women and Religion convocation. In the ceremony, we traditionally bring water we have collected from our travels or from our projects at home or just relaxing at home, and we blend them together in one bowl. It represents our coming together from our separate walks of life and blending and merging into a community here. This year, as last, the virus keeps us apart. But we have photos from many of you of the water you enjoyed this summer. And our stupendous tech team, and in particular, this is due to our stupendous Nancy Kepner, has created a montage of these photos. And we also have a bowl of water here to represent the water you would be pouring in. I invite you to imagine all the water we'll see in the montage coming into this bowl, which at the end of the montage I will bless with the traditional words. So enjoy.
This is the stream at the base of Riverview Park by the Wissahickon Trail.
That's the end. Okay. So first I will pour some symbolic water. We always have symbolic water available at this water ceremony. I will pour it into the bowl to represent all of our waters that we would be bringing here today. And now I offer this blessing. Blessed be these waters gathered from far and near. Blessed be the hands that gathered these waters and poured them out. Blessed be the sharing of our lives and our stories that makes this community of faith a fount of living water for all who choose to come here. Blessed be those whose lives are touched by these waters, that their thirst may be quenched. Blessed be those whose lives are like flowing springs, who bring refreshment to those whose lives are parched. Blessed be this community of memory and hope, which in its coming together and in its sharing of joy and sorrow, struggle and triumph, blesses all who come here and makes these waters holy. Blessed be, and amen. And so in closing, I offer these words. Blessed be this community of memory and hope, which in its coming together and its sharing of joy and sorrow, struggle and triumph, whether in person or through the magic of technology, blesses all who come here. May it be so. Blessed be. Go in peace.